Namaste viewers, welcome to Dhanadegula channel. We'll go through the Bhagavad Gita, the second chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, where the yoga of Sankhya yoga is studied in detail. But let us go through what is that Sankhya yoga. But before we go to the details, I request you to please like, share and then subscribe to my channel. Now, Sankhya Yoga in the Bhagavad Gita, it refers to the awakening of the discernment. So, Sankhya means number or discrimination. But in Gita, it refers to the yoga of true wisdom and clear discrimination between the real, unreal, self, non-self, eternal, what is temporary, what is eternal. All these kinds of things are discussed in the Sankhya Yoga. So here it is not about intellectuality. It is not about dry intellectuality. Say, one may be intellectual. That is a different thing. But a deep understanding of the self, a deep understanding of yourself, the self that is Atman, the duty as an individual, duty as such, that is the Dharma, what is the right Dharma, what is not the right Dharma, that way, and Moksha, liberation. This chapter, this Sankhya Yoga, it lays the foundation of the Lord Krishna's teachings. So this begins right after Arjuna, he surrenders. He surrenders in despair and asks Krishna for guidance. So the first step in any of these philosophical teaching is surrender. Total surrender to the divine words of a guru or of our person who is well known in this. And then seeking guidance from them. Now, in this Sankhya Yoga, this is the second chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. The main objects that are studied here, the soul, the nature of that Atman, the nature of self, who is that self? The soul is eternal. That is, it cannot be destroyed. It is indestructible. It is not born, unchanging. This is what is being taught in the Sankhya Yoga. Here, you are not the body, you are not the mind. You are not even the sensual panchendriyas, you are not even your mind, your chitta, all those things. And the Atman cannot be like, you cannot destroy it. You cannot cut by weapons. Nainam chandanti shastrani, nainam dahati, nainam pavaka, all these things. That means it cannot be burned by fire. It cannot be destroyed by time. No weapon on this earth can destroy it. No weapon on this can, demolish that. But the next is body perishes. The body in which this Atma is present, that perishes. Bodies perish, but the self remains. So now, you can draw some kind of a parallel, like changing clothes. The self takes new bodies. We don't cry when we change our clothes. Similarly, Krishna tells Arjuna not to grieve, not to be saddened, not to be moved by the death of a body, by somebody dying. dying is only for this um, physical nature. It is not for the Atman. So now, why you should not grieve? Wise men do not lament for the living or the dead. Whether he is living or whether dead or whatever it is. Wise men, they don't grieve for that. Arjuna is grieving the loss of family in war. Now here in this war, in this great Kurukshetra war, he is aggrieved, he is now moved that he is going to kill somebody, that so many people are going to die in this war. Loss of friends, families, friends, those associates, all those people, he is going to lose them in war. He is perturbed because of that. Krishna gently scolds him. Grief is based on ignorance of the eternal truth. True vision sees beyond birth and death. This is what Krishna says in his Bhagavad Gita. So your duty, your dharma, as you are born now, as you are now in this Kshatriya clan, Kshatriya being a king, your duty, your dharma is to fight. You are a warrior. For a warrior, because you have assumed the role of a warrior, because assume the role of a king, assume the role of a protector, assume the role of a fighter. Your role, you as a warrior, your role as a warrior, nothing is higher than a righteous battle. You are fighting for the right cause, you are to battle for this right cause. That is what your duty is. Arjuna is a Kshatriya. He is a warrior caste. He has to fight against adharma, whatever that the norm set in, the usual norm set in. If somebody is deviating from those norms, he has to punish them. He has to ensure that the right dharma comes back. So his duty is to fight for righteousness. That is dharma. Now we should understand why Arjuna should fight that battle. Because his duty, this thing is a warrior clan, warrior Kshatriya. That doesn't mean that Krishna is glorifying war. Krishna does not glorify war. He doesn't say that you have to fight and you have to start killing people. Of course, he was the one who went to Kauravas to bring peace, so that some kind of an amicable settlement could be there. They were ready to even for the least this thing. Krishna was he was in the pivotal, he played a pivotal role in doing all those things. But when all those things fail, when all those things could not yield the result, he is now teaching Arjuna, the Kshatriya, to fight the war. He teaches that doing one's dharma, that is here, dharma is fighting a war with detachment. Note the word with detachment is the path to liberation. You should not attach anything to that. You have to do your duty and then be done with that. That is the thing. Here he talks about Nishkama karma, action without attachment. Kama means some kind of a thing and you want something from that. You are doing the thing because you desire that it should give some result. The Nishkama karma is you have the right to perform your actions, but not the results. You are not the controller. You have no control over the results. This is the heart of karma yoga, which is introduced in Bhagavad Gita. Act sincerely without worrying about success or failure. This is freedom in action. Some examples, just as the river flows without clinging to its banks, it doesn't attach itself to the bank, it keeps flowing, living it. The wise act without attachment to outcomes. Here one more term is being introduced. It's called as Sthitaprajna, the steady-minded one. When one gives up all desires and is content in the self, he is a man of steady wisdom. Krishna describes a Sthitaprajna, a person of steady wisdom, who is unshaken by joy or sorrow. He is free from craving and fear. He is equally balanced in success and failure. He is detached from senses, centered in the self. This is the ideal yogi, peaceful, poised and liberated. The sixth aspect here is controlling desires and the mind. Desires lead to anger. Anger to delusion. Delusion to loss of memory and destruction of the intellect. So, the chain of downfall begins with desire. Desire is born from attachment to sense objects. The wise withdraw the senses like a tortoise retracting its limbs. So a spiritual seeker must develop discipline and clarity to avoid being consumed by this cycle. So the summary of Sankhya Yoga is self. It teaches about eternal beyond birth and death, body temporary like clothes, grief comes from ignorance, duty must be done without fear, and detachment, work without expecting results. Steady mind, Sthitaprajna, free from desire and duality, the desire, root of suffering and fall. This is the summary. It is very relevant today because many are trapped in the cycle of desire, anger, stress, burnout. This is a chain, cycle of desire, anger, stress, burnout. Sankhya Yoga shows a way out. Decision making helps us act with clarity, not emotion. Spiritual growth teaches detachment and surrender to the higher self. And leadership also. Krishna teaches Arjuna to rise as a wise, fearless leader. So some of the takeaways here is that Sankhya Yoga is not about dry philosophy, Shushka Vedanta. No, it's absolute philosophy. It's about awakening to your true self, acting with courage, doing your duty with detachment, and walking the path of wisdom over emotion. It turns confusion into clarity, your despair into strength, and the actions into liberation. Viewers, with this, we conclude this episode of Bhagavad Gita on Sankhya Yoga, some summary of the Sankhya Yoga. I hope this was quite interesting, informative, and then I request you to please go through this video after having gone through. Please post your comments in the comment box. Thank you. For the benefit of the readers, we have put whatever that we have done, we have told here in the description box also, so that the readers can go through it. Thank you.